Hello, welcome to the Shout with myself, Mark Carlaw from West Ham Way. So today we're going to be joined by Jamie Segal. Now, Jamie is very prominent on Twitter, massive West Ham fan, seems to go to every game, and we're talking, he goes abroad everywhere. So, really looking forward to speaking to him a bit later on. We're going to be talking about a few things. The main one being Said Benrahma and the news that the club are going to be listening to offers for him this summer, if the right offers do come in, of course. So that's a real big one. We're also talking about Jarrod Bowen, Declan Rice, obviously playing for England, which has been quite amazing, really. Also talking about the summer recruitment. The summer window is about to open, so it's exciting times, and we'll get Jamie's views on that. Also talk about the new kit. The home kit's out. Divided a few opinions, but we'll see what Jamie's thoughts are on that. And also Carlos Tevez retirement. We'll see what Jamie's views are on that as well. Whether he was even alive then when he was playing, I have no idea, but we'll find out. It probably depressed me. But yeah, so looking forward to it. So ready to join us, Mr. Jamie Segal. Let's get him onto the stream. How you doing, Jamie? You all right, mate?
Yeah, you're right. How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Not bad. How you been? So we'll actually, before I ask, how are you after Leon? Because that's where I met you, wasn't it? Not too long ago.
So it was mad. You were sitting in that little pub in that square, weren't you? And then we sort of come
mate.
along, using minding your own business, and we sort of like interrupted your little
gate crashed my moment. I was trying to calm my nerves down, and then you kind of ended up just plying me with lager, and then
yeah, sorry about that, mate.
That was amazing, wasn't it? What a time that was.
Yeah, I was unreal out in Leon, and then to go to Frankfurt as well. It was just sensational.
Yeah, you went out there, didn't you? So what was it like out in Frankfurt? Because I've heard so many mixed stories about what it was like, So it'd be good to hear what you think.
Yeah, no, the actual city itself, obviously, it's not the greatest. It makes. I saw a comment on Twitter. Someone said it makes my end look like Dubai. Honestly, it weren't a great city, but where we were in like this little square, the sun was out. There was a couple of weddings there. We sort of like only here for the West Ham and all that kind of stuff. But no, it was a good laugh out there. It really was. And then obviously walking to the ground, like you got to walk through this little forest bit. It's not exactly ideal, but no, it was decent. It was really good time out there.
You mentioned that. I remember hearing on the podcast actually from Dave and X, they were talking about this forest and this really scary walk to the ground, and it was like something out of a horror film. Do you know what I mean? Was it really that bad then?
Yeah, like it wasn't great. Obviously, the police are there to sort of protect you, but like it's in the middle of a forest. You can get Frankfurt fans coming from like all directions. You just don't know, and especially on the way back out, you just don't know what's going to happen. And Frankfurt fans aren't exactly like the nicest of people. You've got this little ultra group and whatever, but no, it was good though. And then obviously the day after the game, I saw Hinteregger.
Who did you say? Sorry,
Martin Hinteregger from centre back. Yeah, I saw him in McDonald's, and because he got injured, didn't he, after 8 minutes?
That's it. Yeah.
He goes out on this like where did he go? He told me. Oh yeah, he went to like some private party, and he went to McDonald's the next morning and was literally off his head. But he was with an ultra, and we was having a little chat. Yeah, we was having a little chat about it, and the ultra was like, you know what, all this ultra stuff, like when they're by themselves, they don't really do a lot. But when they're in groups, that's when they can be a bit dangerous.
Yeah.
But no, it was mad though. It was mad just seeing him the next day, just like nothing.
That's amazing. I didn't realise that. I had no idea. That's fantastic, man. It's amazing. Yeah, so obviously last season, quickly, we have to reflect on that first. For me, another amazing season, top 7 again. All right, I think it could have been better. I think if we'd invested in January, what's your thoughts on it last season?
Yeah, no, I agree. Obviously, not doing anything in January, sort of, because we could have easily had that 6th spot, do you know what I mean, for another Europa League tour. But instead, we're in the Conference League. And listen, it's not the end of the world. I think it's still a fantastic achievement. Back to back, European football is insane. Obviously, you've got to go through that playoff round, I think, in the Conference League.
That's it, yeah. I think we've got one round to go, haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's been a fantastic season. And it's the first season for me that when I've actually had the time to sort of go home and away. So for me, it's been sensational. I've loved it.
Yeah, to be honest with you, you're for people that don't know, you're quite prominent on Twitter. So I always see you about, but you tend to go to basically every match, don't you? Like pretty much.
Yeah, well, I try my best. I think the few that I haven't been to was when I went on holiday to Tenerife over Christmas time, and then I missed Genk and Zagreb away because of the COVID restrictions back then.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
And it was quite expensive because the club announced it really last minute, didn't they?
That's it. Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're sort of the only ones I missed. But yeah, no, I've tried my best, and hopefully next season I could do the same again.
Oh, mate, I'll be with you, mate. Honestly, I'm buzzing for next season already. And I
Yeah,
always get this, especially now we've got the summer coming up, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, like
yeah,
the transfer window and that. But I'm like a bit of a kid at Christmas. Do you know what I mean? I start just
yeah.
dreaming of who
It's
we're going to
unreal, isn't it?
sign and start dreaming of where we're going to go. So, but the fact is, the fact that the seasons we've had, the last two, have been so good that you kind of actually can dream a little bit. You start thinking, well, we're not far away really, where we can start believing in getting some silverware now.
Oh yeah, I
I
know.
mean, it's a massive summer coming up. One of the things that's come out today, Jamie, I don't know if you've seen, but it's been pretty much it's broken the press now. X revealed this a little while ago, but now it's hitting that sort of mainstream media. Is that David Moyes will accept an offer if the right offer comes in for Said Benrahma, which I think it seems to be
Yeah,
really dividing the fan base. This, I've got my view on it, but I obviously want to see what you're taking on it is.
yeah. No,
What do you
so
think?
I don't think that's the right decision, if I'm honest. I mean, do you know what it was? I think it all stems from when we first signed Benrahma. It wasn't a Moyes signing, was it? I think
No.
everyone knows that. Everyone knows that.
Well, he's Will Salthouse's agent.
Yeah,
So, or sorry, Will
exactly.
Salthouse is his agent. So, I don't know whether that's still the case, but definitely at the time when we signed him, which always makes me believe that this was pushed by Sullivan. It wasn't something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Moyes wanted to happen.
And it shows because he doesn't really pick Benrahma a lot. He only picks him when he sort of has to pick him because we've got no one
Mm,
else there.
mm.
But the thing is with Benrahma, like he's very hot and cold player, isn't he? Like on his day, he's fantastic. He's very technical, but when he's not on his day, he's not a great player, is he? But I just
That's
think
my feeling. Yeah.
it stems from Moyes not sort of like trusting him. He doesn't trust him enough for him to sort of go on Benrahma. You
I
go
don't
out
think he
there,
ever
just
has, Jamie, has he? I don't really
no.
ever think Moyes has ever taken to Benrahma. And I do, I've got two views of it. One, I feel for Benrahma because I think that's the case. I don't think the manager has really
Oh yeah,
taken to
no,
him.
I feel sorry for him as well, Mark. I really do.
Yeah. And the other part is, I think that if I think about David Moyes and how well he's done for us, and we obviously want to push on now, we want to be a side that's top six, top four chasing, we do have to be a bit ruthless. And you just said yourself, he can be quite poor at times. His decision making
Yeah,
can be very
yeah,
questionable. And the debate for me, I mean, what the press are suggesting is that basically Moyes wants to bring in Lingard, and the deal is he'll bring in Lingard, and for that to happen, he'll sell Benrahma. Um,
mm,
Now, I'm of the opinion that I think that would be an improvement. I really do rate Lingard. I know that Benrahma's got the age advantage, but I genuinely think it would be a step up. I think that quality that Lingard has and that sort of ruthless edge, which it was so obvious when he was on loan for us, that step up.
oh yeah,
Um,
for sure. Like we all know what he did for us in his little loan spell. But
mm,
what I'm seeing, I don't know how much he wants a week. But I saw a thing the other day saying he wants like 180k, and I was like, if
I
that
think
is the
that's the.
case, surely I don't know.
I think that from what I understand, that's as an overall, that's everything included, bonuses,
Right? Okay.
everything else included. So I think that might be slightly higher than than being a basic wage. I think we're
Yeah.
probably looking more of 110, 120 a week, which I don't think is actually
Okay.
too bad for a free agent.
That's not
Um,
bad.
I think he's approaching 30 now, Lingard. So I
Yeah.
mean, if we got him on a 3-year deal, which would probably see him to the end of his sort of top level football career, I don't think it'd be such a bad deal for us. I think, let's be honest, but the way this seems to be leaning, the way the press is saying, is that that's what Moyes wants. He wants to bring him in, and for that to happen, I think he's quite happy to let Benrahma go. But it's certainly dividing the fan base. We did a poll earlier, and it was pretty much
Yeah.
50-50.
I
I
voted
mean,
on that.
oh, did
Yeah.
you? Who did you go
Yeah.
with?
I went for Benrahma
Did you?
only
Okay.
because I don't think he's sort of shown what he can actually do for us because Moyes
Mm,
hasn't given him a chance. But don't get me wrong,
mm.
if Moyes wants Lingard, I'd back it 100%.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. It's
I don't know. It's one of them. I know it's 100%. It divides the fan base, doesn't it? Everyone wants Benrahma. I think people have been comparing like Benrahma to 4 hours and like his stats and stuff. I mean, I even put a
mm,
tweet out earlier
mm,
because I think it's quite unfair the unnecessary hate that sort of Benrahma gets. And
mm.
four
Oh,
hours
absolutely. Yeah, agreed.
Four Hours has sort of dissimilar stats to Benrahma, but
Mm.
Four Hours doesn't get enough. Well, no, I'm not saying enough, but it doesn't get as much hate as Benrahma does, and I think that's quite unfair.
Yeah, do you know what I think it stems from as well? I think a lot of people had high hopes for Benrahma, me included. I
Yeah,
think there was a part of me that felt that once he'd had his first season in the Premier League, when he hit the ground running, in his second season, got found his stride, sort of thing. Then I felt that we might have another sort of pie on our head. All right, maybe not to that level, but I really thought we'd
yeah,
have someone that could be scoring sort of 20 goals. And one thing I was actually thinking about before that reminds me before we started this was that you look at Jarrod Bowen. He came from the Championship pretty much around the same time. And look how far he's come on now. I mean, he's gone on to being a sort of player that you'd expect to be scoring 20 goals probably for us next season. He's broken to the England team. And I think that's where the frustration is with Benrahma, that you look at him and think you're not making those strides forward now. You're kind of still showing that championship kind of style player that really, I think, as a manager, Moyes, I think, is becoming a bit frustrated with.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know he's got the quality. We saw it at Brentford. We've seen it in spells like last season and 2 seasons ago and this season, like last season. We've seen it. We've seen this there. It's just so frustrating because he can beat a man, but then after that, the end product, I don't know. It's a tough one, really. I'm gutted for him because obviously I really hoped it worked out, but it just hasn't, unfortunately, and it's a shame.
It is, yeah, it is. It's a real shame, mate. If it is the way it's going to go, it does seem to be leaning that way. Then yeah, it would be a real shame. I do feel for him, but I mean, but having said that, I mean, if I'm guessing that someone like Brentford might be interested in bringing him back. You never know.
Yeah,
quite interesting. Another thing I want to talk to you about as well was Jarrod Bowen. Then, so made his England bow this week. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, he did insane, didn't he? That was it. The first game against Hungary, the first half.
Oh,
I thought everything was going through Bowen, wasn't it? He was our focal point going forward.
Yeah.
Kane was like non-existent against Hungary in the first half, even the second half. Everything went through Bowen. I thought he was sensational. And then obviously against Germany, Southgate brings on Grealish and Bowen. I think both of them changed the game massively, earned us a point. And yeah, it's just nice to see someone sort of direct running at the defence like Grealish and Bowen did. We were lacking that in the first half, I thought. But yeah, Bowen, he's been sensational.
He has, and I'll tell you what I loved about him as well. He looked the part, didn't he? He didn't look nervous.
Yeah.
He just walked into the game as if he'd been playing for England for quite a long time. And just really impressive. And I think he's done himself no harm at all in terms of a World Cup shout. If he carries on this form, he's got to be on that plane.
Should be there, 100%, 100%. He just brings something different to like your Sterlings or your Sakas. He's so good. I love him. He's unreal for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I genuinely, like I was saying earlier, I can see him being a 20 goal plus season, season player. I really can. I mean, he's such a good player, and his finishing is just phenomenal now. He's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's lethal. So he reminds me a bit of Tony Cottee as well. With his finishing, he's that kind of build and the way he plays. But yeah, I'm so chuffed for him, and obviously Rice as well. Another brilliant performance for him against Germany in particular. He was
got his man of the match, didn't he?
Yeah, I voted for him, and I'm so pleased for him. I mean, he's just getting better and better. I can't get over how good that player is.
No, do you know what? Yeah, do you know what it is as well? Like, I think with age, he's just becoming so good. Like when we first saw his debut, was it against Burnley? I think I cast my mind back. Yeah, just watching him there, you can tell that there was a player there. Like there was, and now he's coming into his own with the help of Noble as well, with the leadership. He's sensational in that midfield. He really is.
Oh, mate, he's been phenomenal for us. I mean, I know there's so much speculation with Rice, and it's always going to be the case with like top draw players. But I mean, my gut feeling is I can't see us selling him this summer. I really can't.
No. I think one more season at least, and then potentially he might leave. But I think one more season we've got out of Rice, so it's all good. All good.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, there's always a chance it'll be longer. I think it's down to the club now to show that ambition. If West Ham can really go out this summer and show those players, the Bowens and the Rice, that we are a club that are pushing for top four, and we really do mean business, then I don't really see the reason why they'd want to move on anyway. Because I mean, there's not much better than that. I think that's what we need. We all know how crucial this summer is, but with West Ham, you just never trust them, can you? With transfers, you just don't know what we're going to do.
You don't know. Don't know.
Jamie, summer recruitment. So what are you thinking? If you had to pick, then a list of sort of your dream targets, who have you got in mind? But realistic dream targets,
I'm just seeing like who we've sort of been linked with, and I do like Zinchenko. I really do like him because I know he wants to play in that midfield now, and we're lacking sort of in that midfield. I know we've got Rice, Souček, but Krau's I think leaving.
Yes.
I think we've got Coventry coming back potentially. I'm not sure.
I think that's a 50-50 instead of if he can impress Moyes at this stage. But
exactly that. So I do like the Zinchenko addition, and obviously he can play left back as well if needed. But I've seen that he wants to play in that midfield now. Which, don't get me wrong, it would be class because he can play in that attacking midfield role. He can play besides Rice, or besides Souček, one of them. No, honestly, I think Zinchenko would be really, really good. And obviously, you've seen him for Ukraine in that midfield role.
Yeah, absolutely.
How good he can be.
I agree, mate.
Yeah, and Pep seemed to love him at City. All the City fans love Zinchenko. I think he'll be a proper good addition to around the club, really.
I mean, I think it says a lot, Jamie, that the fact that Pep's already come out and said that if he wants to stay, he can stay. They'd happily keep him
Exactly,
on. So, I mean, if a
exactly
club
that.
like City want to keep a player like that, it just shows how good he is. I mean, like you say, if we can, and as well, I think that's a bit of a statement signing as well. If we can get
Oh
number
yeah, it's
one,
huge.
it'd be massive. I totally agree. That's one I'd love to see happen. In terms of the front
And
line, anyone in particular?
yeah,
Because obviously this is a position that's desperately needs filling now. We can't keep relying on
oh
Antonio.
massively. Do you know what it is? There's a lot of players out there that we could get. I mean, I've seen Broja being thrown
Mm,
around. I've watched him twice this season in
mm,
person, both at Southampton in the cup game and the
yeah.
Premier League game, and he terrorised our defence that like both times. He really did.
Mm.
But my only concern about Broja is that he's young and Chelsea are demanding a stupid fee for him, which I don't know if he's worth that much as of yet. We haven't seen enough of him, I don't think.
Yeah. I know
I
what you
don't know.
mean. I don't know enough on the fee. I don't know, and I keep seeing sort of mixed messages. I did
Yeah.
read the other day that they were talking about 25 million, and if that's the case, I think
Okay,
that's
that's
really
not bad.
good.
That's not
But
bad then.
whether that's true or not, I don't know. But then, as you say, then there's other reports suggesting more than around double that.
Exactly.
So I don't really know. Personally, for me, he'd be my number one choice. I
Yeah.
think, like you say, he's clearly a quality player, and the fact he's 20 as well excites me more because I just think, well, what's he going to be like? By the time he's sort of 25, 26.
I know.
So I personally would like him. I quite like Dennis as well of Watford. I thought he did really well
Yeah,
for
yeah.
them, and the fact
I
I
think
think
could
he'd
be
be
good for us.
available for a decent fee.
Because the thing with Dennis as well, like you can play him up top, you can play him on the wing, you can play him
Yeah.
behind the striker. He's a sort of like an all round front man. So,
Mm.
and obviously, I can't see Dennis staying at Watford. I really can't.
No, I don't
So
think he will. I don't think they'll be able to hang on to him. And the fact,
no,
I mean, I
so
think he scored 10 goals in the league last season. You know what I mean? That's pretty
yeah,
good going for a team that got
he started
relegated.
off well though. He started off well, and then
Mm.
sort of lost his what's the word, like in front of goal. He lost his
Yeah,
touch in
like
front
a
of goal.
potency, maybe. That's the
Yeah,
word.
yeah,
I know what you mean. Yeah, like he did a little bit. I just think with a decent side around him, to good service, I think he'd be a very good player. I mean, personally, I'd like to see us get two strikers in. I think we want to,
yeah. I
we need to
agree.
bolster our front line massively. So I would like Dennis as a kind of an option as well. But I think Brozier for me would be the number one. Another position that seems to be up for debate. I mean, I think it's kind of coming to its conclusion now is the goalkeeper one. Um,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Areola looks like it's going to happen. What's your thoughts on
100%.
Areola? Would he be your number one choice for next season?
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, Fabianski. He's been a fantastic servant to the club, and
yeah,
obviously
yeah,
last season he's made some fantastic saves. Literally kept single handedly kept us in a few games.
yeah.
But for me, moving forward, obviously with age, Fabianski, his reactions will become slower. On the ball, he'll become slower. I just think going forward, Areola should and probably will be, if we were to sign him, be our number one keeper.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for that now. I mean, I was always leaning a little bit towards Nick Pope, I'll be honest, because I
Yeah,
think I really rate him. I think he's just, but the fact that I think Areola has got the relationship now with the players, with the fans, he understands the club. Moyes obviously likes him as well, which I think is a massive,
for
bonus.
sure.
So for me, yeah, I'm now more than happy. I think if that deal does happen, which it looks like it's probably going to, that'd be great. And
Yeah.
the fact of his age as well, it gives us it's nice to get that number one, goalkeeper role cemented for quite some time.
Oh yeah, 100%. And watching him this season as well, I know he's only played cup games, but
Mm,
I just take my mind back to the City game in the cup.
yeah.
I've never seen a keeper save so many shots in a game. He was unbelievable. And obviously,
Yeah,
I cast my mind back again to Sevilla at home
I was going to
when
say
he
that
saved.
save.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean, that
just
that kept us in the tournament. If they'd scored that
for
goal,
sure.
I reckon we were going out. We really
That's what I
were.
mean. Areola has basically allowed us the Leon memories, allowed us the Frankfurt memories
Mm,
from that save. I think I don't know. He's just been sensational. He has. I know he's only played little in the cups, but he's
yeah,
done his job, and Areola he really has.
yeah, he has, yeah. And I think as well the fee seems quite reasonable. I think they're only talking
Yeah,
about
for sure.
7 and 8 million. I don't think it's massive. I
Yeah,
think the only stumbling block's the wages, but I'm sure they can get that
yeah.
negotiated
It
down. 'Cause I
shouldn't be
think
a problem.
yeah, I agree. I think that'd be really good. And as you say, it just gives that. It's just nice to get a bit of confidence in the back line. The players know then who they've got there. I mean, Aguerd, I
Yeah,
think as well, the other player that looks like it's close to happening now as well.
yeah.
Into the centre back. What's your thoughts on him? And any early thoughts on him coming into
I
the
mean,
club?
I'm not gonna lie to you, Mark. I haven't watched him play, so I can't really say
Yeah.
that much. But from what I've seen and what people have been saying, he seems like the real deal.
Mm.
I think he's left-footed, so can play on the left-hand side. So if you've got that Agüed and Zuma,
Yeah.
and obviously they're all French speaking as well, it
And
helps.
I did read a stat as well. Apparently, he's got the most forward passes, completed passes for a
Yeah,
centre back
I saw
across
that.
Europe for the last 2 years. So, and he just seems really classy in the ball. Like you, I haven't seen much of him. I've only seen him play one game in terms of what I've actually watched him play,
Yeah,
and then I've watched sort of clips on YouTube, which all right, they can be very misleading because they're obviously only going to
oh, of
highlight
course.
sort of the good things. But he does look a really quality player. So, and the fact we're talking at a pretty decent fee, so it shows that there must be some real big trust in them from the club and Moyes to want to invest that much in him. I think it's quite exciting, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for that as well. Like Agüed, Areola, and then I just really want to see who we can get in that attacking role, like the
Mm,
striker role, because it's been ignored for years. Even the left back as well. I know we've had trust in Cresswell, but
mm.
I think maybe there's a need for a change there as well at left back. I'm not
I
sure.
agree. I agree. I mean, I love Aaron Creswell. I mean,
Oh yeah, same.
I had issues with him for a couple of years. I thought his form was fading, and I was kind of happy. I was looking for us to replace him, but the last 2 years out, he's really stepped up again. He just looks, his delivery's fantastic. But you're
Yeah,
right. Once he's injured though, we can't rely on Masuaku. He's just, I just don't. He's not a decent defender at all in my eyes.
no, he's
Um,
shocking. He's
he
shocking.
just he's just so unreliable. I get frightened of him. Do you know what I mean? I just can't cope when he
Yeah,
plays.
but it's
So
good though.
yeah,
It's good though. We've got Ben Johnson who can sort of play left back and right back. I
yeah,
think he's solid. He's solid on both sides. So it's good that we have him as a sort of versatile player there. But
yeah.
yeah, no, we can't keep relying on Cresswell, Masuaku all the time. I mean, Masuaku. I mean, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. You could play him on the wing and he'd do a sort of
Yeah.
job there.
I
But
don't know what position he is. I can't work it out. Like, he's
I
a
don't know.
strange footballer. I can't quite. But I don't know whether we'll keep him on. I don't know. I'm like you. I think it's a position we just need to get sorted now. Get a
Yeah,
really decent left back in.
hundred
Yeah,
percent.
it's going to be very interesting. Did you see as well today the kits came out? Have you seen them yet?
I did, and I'm not gonna lie. From first look, I'm not a
Yeah,
fan. But the only reason why, because it looks like a
yeah.
training top, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, this has got to be. I mean, it's a funny one because I always want to try and like something, but it's one of those I'm struggling with. Like I keep looking at it
Yeah,
and I just can't really get. I know I'm going to end up buying one. I'm not. Don't get me
yeah.
wrong. That's
Same.
going to
No,
happen.
same with me.
It's going to
Exactly
happen.
the
I'll
same.
spend 70 quid on it and be a moron.
Yeah,
But yeah, I just got. It's a strange kit, isn't it? It's probably the worst. One of the worst we've had from Umbro, I'd say.
yeah. I'm just not really sure as to where the designs come from. Is it from the one where we were sponsored by Back? Is it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, BAC Windows. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so. Yeah, I think that's what it's based upon, which is the 91, 92, and 93, 94
yeah.
seasons. But yeah, they just haven't really done it, have they? The design is really strange. I just don't like the
Yeah, I'm
shoulders at
just
all.
I'm a bit confused because I was looking back at previous training tops we've had, and they've
Yeah.
just sort of reused that design on the new kit.
Oh,
I'm
I
really
didn't notice
confused.
that. Did they? Okay.
Yes, I was looking earlier. And I was looking. Okay, let's have a look what the 21-22 training top was. Like when the players come up at half
Yeah.
time before the game,
Yeah.
and it's got a similar design. And I was like,
So they've
surely
just
you can,
copied that and just whacked some
yeah,
claret on it or blue on it even.
yeah. And I was like, surely Umbro could do better with that. I don't know it. I mean, I'll have to see it in person when the team come out and play in pre-season, just to see what it looks
Yeah,
like.
I know what
It'll
you
probably
mean.
grow on me, and I'll probably buy it. Same as
Oh
you.
yeah, I know. I'll be wearing it the first game of the season,
That's
giving
what
it
I mean.
plenty. No, yeah, and I'll tell you what. Do you know what's annoyed me more about it is that I looked at it and thought, well, do you know what though? I think when the players are wearing it with the old crisp white shorts, white socks, that's going to look really smart. And they haven't even
Yeah,
bloody done that. It's
yeah, I
bloody
know.
blue shorts and claret socks. It's like they've not even got any white with it. So you're like, it's going to look. And I really hated that when we did that a few years ago with the. I think it was Adidas kit possibly at the time when we had the blue shorts and claret socks. Do you remember?
Yeah, I can't remember.
It was under Allardyce. It was yeah, when we were at Upton Park, and it was it's
Yeah,
just awful. It just didn't look right at all. I just don't like the look of it. It's like I'm so annoyed they've gone back to that again because it's just that's the only thing that annoys me more now because that was my only kind of. I thought once it's got nice short white shorts and some white socks, it'll look quite nice, but
yeah.
they haven't even done that.
Oh, I don't know. I'm interested to see what the away kit and third kit would look like. I mean, I've seen
Yeah,
leaks that there's a bit of orange in one of the kits, and I was like, okay, that's a bit rogue, but
I know. It does sound a bit Wolves, doesn't it? White
yeah,
and orange, I think, is one of them, and I believe the third or the away kit. I'm guessing the third will be. I think it's all black. like the one we had
That's
a
not
couple of
bad. Yeah,
seasons ago,
I
which is
did like
quite
that
nice.
kit, to be fair. Yeah.
I really like that one. Yes, I've got a feeling the away ones, everyone's kind of hoping they're going to look decent because they're the ones that are going to sell, I reckon.
Oh, yeah, blimey.
Have you got a kit, thinking about that, I was going to ask you, from the previous, kits from the past, is there any ones that you
Sure.
think of that you think I'd love the club to go and base that on?
So I was looking before, actually, just to sort of see what sort of kits I'd like, and
Yeah.
I've got one, Dagenham Motors,
Yeah.
the one with the collar. I don't know if you remember
What,
it.
the big blue collar?
Yeah,
Like the big V? Yeah, I remember the one, the big flappy one.
yeah,
That one?
that's it, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I remember that one. Yeah.
because I've got a retro shirt of it, and I love it to pieces. So I was thinking if they could do something like that again, like maybe similar to what we had last season, but the collar being a little bit
Well,
bigger.
do you know what? I think you're into something there because I've noticed the last few years what they tend to do, the club, is they release a retro version of the kit
Yeah,
for every kit every year, don't they? Have you noticed they
yeah,
always put like in their retro kit, they put that one in it. And last season's retro kit was the one that this one's been based on. So I've got a feeling next season will be the same. I'm guessing they'll base it on that. So you might be
mate.
onto something. Your
Yeah,
dreams may
no.
be fulfilled.
Honestly, if they bring out that kit with a big collar, basically proper old school. I
Yeah,
like I
basically
like the
what I
old
want to
school
see is
kit.
Declan Rice running and the collar smacking him in the face as he's running
Yeah,
along.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? That's what you want to see. And I don't want it to be like a nice modern kit. I want it to be really baggy, like they're
No,
wearing
no, I
a
agree. I agree.
proper old school.
Yeah. No, it'll be proper good though. Like just to sort of bring everyone's memories back to, was it the 1990s? I don't know. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I think it was. Yeah, it was sort of late 90s. I think 1998,
Yeah.
99 sort of time.
I
Yeah.
weren't even alive then, but
Oh, shut up, Jamie. You always depress me every time I speak. I was in a good mood then before that comment. You know what I mean? Joe,
oh, sorry, mate.
before we went on this video, right, I just realised how grey I am. You know what I mean? 'Cause I didn't realise that this camera really makes me look more grey than I am. So yeah, so now you're making me feel even worse. But talking of getting old, Carlos Tevez has retired.
I
Um,
know, I
I had
know.
to ask you about that. I mean, I had to talk about it. I mean, what's your memories of Tevez? I mean, what was your time when he was at the club?
See, that's the thing. I was only 4 or 5 at the time, so my
I never
personal
brought this
memory of
question up.
Tevez, my personal memory of Tevez is not the greatest. I can't lie. But from
Mm.
hearing stuff from my dad and stuff, yeah, Tevez was sensational that season. Obviously, the great escape. He
Oh,
scored so
mate.
many important goals. Old Trafford. Just what I always watch that goal, and I'm like, it's crazy how we actually managed to escape that season. But
Oh,
Tevez
mate.
was a key part of
Unbelievable.
it.
I mean, the fact we had to go to Old Trafford and win to stay up,
I know.
and we did. You know what I mean? It was ridiculous. I mean, it really was. And yeah, he was brilliant. I mean, he actually at the time, I think Wayne Rooney was at Man United that season. I think he went to Man United that season from Everton, and he was obviously amazing. But Tevez wasn't far behind him. Do you know what I mean? He was that good.
Yeah,
He was so good for us when he hit his form, because he took a little while to get going when he came over, but then he sort of the last handful of games he just he exploded and it was just amazing. So yeah, it's sad really to see he's retired, because he's always been one. I think we've always been linked with that he might return. He might just do one season at West
oh,
Ham.
yeah.
I think X tweeted as well and said that
Yeah, I
thank God
saw that.
he's not going to be linked anymore, because I think he gets asked every transfer window. Tevez is coming, so yeah, so it's quite sad to see him retire, but
Yeah, but obviously he's a
Arsenal.
proper cult hero for the club. I mean,
Mm.
we all love him. Even though I didn't see too much of him, I still love him, and I think he loves us as well, because it was his first club in Europe, wasn't it? So it's his
Yeah, absolutely.
first love.
He always gives the hammer signal, doesn't he? Every time he played against us, all the time. He loved it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
he really does. So yeah, it's sad, but it's one of those things, isn't it?
Oh, of course.
Jamie, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed
Thank
it.
you so much for coming on, and I'm sure we'll bump into each other over the ground when the season kicks off. And obviously, we want to get
Yeah,
you back
for
on with
sure.
Ben soon as well.
Yeah, for sure. No, thanks for having me on. It's been good.
Excellent, mate. You take care of yourself, yeah?
Yeah, and you.
Take care, mate. Bye-bye. So there we have it. Thank you, Jamie, for coming on the show. Always a pleasure chatting to him. So next week, I'm going to be joined by Billy Cooper. We're going to be talking about all the latest developments and as the week progresses. Obviously, we've got the transfer window opening now, so we're expecting some big things. I try not to get too excited, but I just can't help myself, and I'm sure you're all the same. So fingers crossed it all goes well. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye.